let's talk about some Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So Spider-Man 2002. This is my favorite Spider-Man film to date. Me personally, I like this movie more than Spider-Man 2. This is my favorite. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie. I watch this movie all the time. It has my favorite Spider-Man villain as the main villain. The soundtrack is great by Danny Elfman. The directing by Sam Raimi, fucking amazing. This movie would not have been good if it was supposed to be what it was supposed to be before Sam Raimi was involved. This movie was actually supposed to be directed by James Cameron.
Yep. And starred Leonardo DiCaprio. Yep.
Starring Leonardo DiCaprio because he had just come off of Titanic.
Yeah.
The main villain was still supposed to be the Green Goblin. But yeah, Leo as Spider-Man. And it was supposed to be R-rated.
I personally, hot take, I don't like James Cameron. And I definitely don't like Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker. But I will say, back in
for the time...
back then,
for the time,
it actually probably would have worked pretty well.
Yeah, it probably would have worked. Especially because of what he had just come off doing as Titanic.
Yeah. Ironically enough, Toby and Leonardo DiCaprio are good childhood friends.
Very good friends.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure that was no coincidence that.
So James Cameron, for some reason I'm drawing a blank, but he's the Avatar guy, right?
Avatar, and he did the Terminator movies, and he did.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a whole lot of sense that this would have been. There was supposed to be a brutal fight scene between Goblin and Spider-Man in this film.
Which is
that's pretty much it. It just didn't end up happening, and then it ended up going to Sam Raimi, and the rest is history, I suppose. But it was, this would have been an interesting movie. Let's just say the least, an interesting film.
This movie's great, though. I mean, Willem Dafoe is an all-timer as Green Goblin. Tobey Maguire, Steady does a great job. He does a great job of being a fucking dork, which I love.
Right. And personally, I don't think that there is. I literally don't think this might be a hot take, what I'm about to say, but I'm going to stand by it. I don't think that there is a better comic book villain performance than Green Goblin by Willem Dafoe.
Whoa.
And I stand on that.
Awfully bold of you to discount Jared Leto's Morbius like that, but I'll allow it. But no, I don't. I see exactly where you're. I'd have to think about it. But I mean, you're not gonna get an immediate no from me. I'll say that.
I mean, if it's not the best, if it's not the greatest of all time, it's definitely up there. It's definitely top 3 at best.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's definitely top 3. Green Goblin. As a kid, he's so scary, but he's also so cool. Yeah. He's it's what's that saying about car wrecks? It's so awful you can't look away, but
you can't take your eyes away. You're oh.
Right, he's so terrifying that you don't want to look at him, but you want to see what he does because he's just so cool. His voice, the way that he can manipulate his voice from Norman to Green Goblin is so great. The whole multiple personality thing. Very subtext in this movie, but it was made text in No Way Home. Everything was just amazing. I love this film.
This movie's great. It's the perfect amount of camp and corniness where it's cheeky, but it's not taking you out of the movie.
Absolutely.
The scene where Mary Jane's on the ledge and Green Goblin's there, and the girl on the bottom's look, it's Spider-Man, and then he comes in web it's just perfect.
He does the Superman open thing with his suit.
Yeah.
You're right.
And again, this movie, it's just.
But not to mention, Green Goblin. Obviously, he's the main villain, but just everybody in this movie is amazing. Fuck Mary Jane all the way in these movies. She's
so
the worst
annoying.
fucking human being
so
on the
annoying.
planet. Harry Osborn, he's kind of cool, I guess. Kind of a whiny bitch. But you know what? That's what you get when you're. That's what you get when you're raised with money, I guess. Mike would know that. No, I'm just kidding.
The fuck? The
fuck? Dude, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I don't think anyone was more born. I don't think anyone was more born to play a part in my life.
You know a character's good, and there's a few examples of this. You know a character is good and an actor is good playing a character when you're reading a comic book and you read their lines in that person's voice. I read J. Jonah Jameson's lines in J.K. Simmons' voice in my head.
Absolutely.
I read Deadpool's lines in Ryan Reynolds' voice, right? Mm-hmm. I read Iron Man's and Robert Downey Jr.'s. when
Well,
they have
for that,
imprinted
it's
such a
for
good. Sorry, go ahead.
for characters like Deadpool and like Spider-Man and like even Batman specifically. Like I read Kevin Conroy because that's just who I hear. But like
Yeah.
for Spider-Man, right? There's so many voices that you can think of. Like there's Yuri Lowenthal, there's Toby, there's Tom.
Yeah, I don't
there's
have
Andrew,
a distinct
there's
Spider-Man voice for
Josh
sure.
Keaton. There's even Drake Bell. Like for a while, like that's who I heard
Yeah.
as Spider-Man. So like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to hear, so it's kind of like an amalgamation of everything in your head. But there's certain characters that when you just hear them, like for example Wolverine, right? When
I
you
was gonna say
read
Hugh
Wolverine
Jackman,
in
yep.
the comics, it's Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
It's Hugh Jackman. It's
Yep.
either Hugh Jackman or Steve Blum, who I met, and he's also a great guy. But with J. Jonah Jameson, there's literally only one person that you hear, because there's only really been like one person that left like a really big impact on the character, and that's J.K. Simmons.
Absolutely, and like his, this is one thing that I always think about these early movies, and his lines feel so distinctly separated and comedic from the rest
Right.
of the movie. Like I almost
They
would
seem
wonder
real,
if he wrote
almost.
his
Like,
own lines. Like
yeah.
if he was like, "You're fired, JK, come back," like you know what I'm saying, or like
Yeah, and like they sound just real lines.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them definitely sound a little bit more drama tied,
Yeah.
like dramatic,
Yeah.
and they seem very, I don't know, just very mopey and dramatic, and just like,
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it, but like you get what I'm saying. But like JK's lines is just like, yeah, you're fired. Oh no, wait, I need you. Come here. Like
Yeah.
or like
Or like when
the
he's
part
laughing,
where-
he's like, "Are you serious?" Like that is
yeah,
just
like yeah,
so funny.
Pay you for
Yeah.
what? Standing there, like that kind of stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
perfect. Like that
Yeah.
just sounds real. It sounds like a real person, and I think
Or-
that that's why.
The best line where it's like, he was like, "But that's slander." He's like, "Slander's written." Or God, what's the line where he was like,
He's
no,
like,
he's
I
like,
resent. Yeah, I resent that, and he's like, Slender's spoken.
yeah. If it's print, it's liable. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Spider-Man wasn't attacking the city. He was trying to save it. That's slander.
It is not. I resent that. Slander is spoken. In print, it's libel.
Yeah, so like his lines are just so, they feel so different from the rest of the movie, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like they are just,
Yeah,
they're just.
I mean,
iconic.
even to this day, I've seen Spider-Man a thousand times, and that line where he laughs at Peter for asking for him for paying in advance, it still makes me laugh.
Could you pay me in advance?
You serious?
shit
funniest
ever.
joke.
That's the realest shit
It's
ever.
still the funniest joke in the
Yeah.
entire thing. Also, not to mention, the casting for Aunt May and Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben's casting in this movie is fucking great, phenomenal, outstanding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
come on.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, and then before we move on to Spider-Man 2, because we've already been talking about this for like 20 minutes. But my favorite part about this movie, the fight scene between Goblin and Spider-Man at the end of this movie. My favorite thing about this is just you can feel how brutal it is, and you're not even in the scene.
Yeah.
And I love that they didn't put a score in over this fight scene. They just left it quiet. It's you just hear the fighting.
Misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen. I offered you friendship, and you spat in my face.
And it's just, it still hits every single time I watch it. It's still a great fight scene. Yeah. But yeah. That's Spider-Man.
Hot take. I do like it when I kind of like it when my heroes kill a little bit. And again, I know it's kind of a hot take, but like he didn't really mean. I know he didn't really.
You've been on Twitter too much, dog. You've been on Twitter too much, dog. You're gonna
listen.
have to like get off that shit for a little
Listen.
bit. That's crazy. That's absolutely
Not
crazy.
in the sense that I want my heroes going out and murdering people. However, I think with battles like this, dude, if this happened in real life, one of these motherfuckers is dying, just like straight up.
Facts.
And he kills him by accident, really, but he does kill
And
him.
I also like that this one, hey Marvel, take notes. This fight scene is pretty much directly ripped out of the comics, even down to the death. It's
Even down to
ripped.
the rips in his like mask and his suit and everything like that.
Yeah,
Like, that's
it's ripped completely out of the comics. Spider-Man 2, man. Spider-Man 2 is a great movie because I think this movie did something that superhero films weren't doing at the time, and that was it made Spider-Man not Spider-Man for a good chunk of the movie. A good chunk of this movie is Spider-Man not being Spider-Man.
I love the interpersonal struggles that Peter faces because his whole life is going to shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's failing his classes. He's getting bruised up as Spider-Man. Harry is mad at Spider-Man because he killed Harry's dad. Like, there's just so much shit going on.
MJ is just fucking completely
being a bitch.
Yeah, she's like doing this to spite him, even though like
You can kiss
I don't
me.
know.
And he's like,
Yeah,
what?
like, and
What?
she's totally with somebody that's like
Yeah.
so much more successful than Peter. He still has a shitty job. Like his boss fucking hates him. His aunt is mad at him at one point in this movie because he explains what happened to Uncle Ben, and it's like, dude, this whole movie, it's like.
Well, and the movie begins with him losing his fucking job at the pizza place because that one guy was being the girl was being a dick. She was like, "Well, you didn't get her fast enough, so the pizza's free." Like, that's how the movie like opens, basically. Like, it's just
and Peter just takes all of it on the chin. He doesn't fight about it. He doesn't cry about it. He doesn't stop being Spider-Man or go to Europe with his friends.
Lash out. Okay, all right, bro.
He doesn't. Let me say that again because you were kind of talking over me. He doesn't go to Europe with his friends on vacation.
I know you can't see me, but I'm staring at you through the screen right now.
Yeah, I'm staring at you through my camera lens right now. He continues to try to be Spider-Man, although he does give up the mantle of Spider-Man because he just thinks that honestly he's like just not good enough for it anymore, and he just stops.
It's almost like he's facing like that imposter syndrome of like he's not the hero that that New York needs, right? And it is just you want. I mean, and also you want to talk about shots ripped right from the comic books. That shot of him with the suit and the garbage can and him walking away. That's
Sam Raimi's always been really great. Sam Raimi has always been really great at that.
Yes.
He does it so much. In
if
all
you
of his
have the
Spider-Man
source
movies.
material, use it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
verbatim,
decades of Spider-Man comics. Yeah.
Yes.
But whatever.
And then
Otto.
not to mention Otto Octavius, Doc Ock, baby.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
I mean, man, like Sam Raimi got to up his horror in this movie with that scene where they're trying to get the arms off of him. And also, I didn't know this, but did you know that the lady who plays Rosie, his wife, is the lady who talks for Mother Gothel in Tangled?
No, I did not know that. By the way, speaking of that, there's a lot of fucking cameos in this movie where like it's actors that like we know, like the dad from Lab Rats is in the elevator scene early in the movie.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
There's the guy from
Joey
Hawaii
Diaz,
5-0.
dude. Joey Diaz shows up on the train, dude. Yeah.
Joey Diaz, the guy from Hawaii 5-0 is in it. He's one of the like doctors working on the tentacle arms. Like, there's like so many like, oh hey, I know that guy. Oh hey, like
I think it's because
like,
the first one
funny.
was like, I think it's because the first one was such a big hit, and everyone was like, oh yeah, like let me get in on this. Like even honestly, if this movie had come out today, Channing Tatum would have popped up in it. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also
like,
funny just to think about too. Like, you see these actors in like these small roles, like probably before they like really hit it big. You know what I'm saying? So they're just like, they're like, oh, this is a big movie. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I always enjoy that when I watch Spider-Man 2. Joel McHale's in this movie. I totally forgot about that. He's in this movie too. Joel McHale.
Who's that?
He's the banker, the one that they're trying to get the loan from in the bank.
Right
before Doc Ock like breaks open the safe and stuff like that. Yeah, he's that guy.
Yes. The train sequence, iconic. I think it's pretty much been parodied or used in every adaptation of Spider-Man since. Dude, I don't even think there's like a better place to fight Doc Ock than on a train. Like that's
it's so
like
cool.
that's so like who thought of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's so
and the
great.
scene of him webbing up the building so he's in front of the train, he can stop the train, and his suit is ripping, and he's like,
Right,
and then he like
right.
passes out right after.
You
And
know,
they,
and then
they
Tobey
save him
Maguire
from,
does the iconic fucking shitting his pants, or like trying to shit his pants face.
No, but then I think it's also a beautiful moment where after the train stopped and he's fucking dogged, understandably, he's like
Right.
about to fall over, and they grab him, and they bring him into the train. Like, again,
Right.
just an amazing sequence all the way around. And they also put his mask back on to keep his identity. Like, it's just perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and like, yeah, I like that scene a lot too, because it's like they're saying, they're like, oh, he's just a kid, and then he's like, yeah, but you know, like they don't care who he is. No one cares who Spider-Man
He's
is.
Spider-Man.
It's just
He's
Spider-Man.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, no one cares about Peter Parker underneath, because what he's done as Spider-Man is so much more than, you know, who he is and him being famous as Peter Parker. Like, all those people on that train know who Spider-Man is, but like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yep, absolutely correct.
I love it. And I love how in every movie, New York plays a big part in helping Spider-Man at the end. Even in the first one, on the bridge. Just
I
stuff
wonder
like
if
that.
New York's
it's
important
nice.
to the Spider-Man story at all.
Very weird.
wonder
Not
that.
fucking Europe. Not Prague. Or
All right, so Spider-Man 3.
fucking,
Spider-Man 3.
Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man 3. We disagree on this one. This was our first disagreement, I think.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Can I
goofy.
speak my piece? Can I speak my piece before you fucking
Go ahead.
shit
Go
all
ahead,
over
go
it?
ahead. Go ahead.
I love this movie because I loved this movie when I was a kid. It was like one of my favorite films growing up. I would run around my house in the black Spider-Man suit and just fucking try to stick to walls and shit, and then slide down the wall and like fucking smack my head or something.
No, that makes sense. That checks out.
Right. This movie, I know nobody likes this movie because of whatever fucking reason, because this movie's not Sam Raimi's fault. None of this was Sam Raimi's fault. Fucking Avi Arad. But, you know, this movie still gets shit on a lot. I get why. Venom was not done very well. Todd McFarlane didn't like Venom either in this movie, which is when the creator of the character is like, yeah, that sucked. You know what I'm saying?
You
like,
done fucked up.
Yeah, you kind of fucked up. But then again, not Sam Raimi's fault. Everything with Sandman is fucking amazing. Goblin 2 is kind of weird. Ninja Goblin, kind of weird. Sandman is great, honestly. I don't think I have any complaints about Sandman in this movie.
No, I don't really have complaints about Sandman.
The Harry stuff is okay. I don't like how they try to do like he's a villain, then he forgets, and then he's a villain again, and then he redeems himself, and then
He's got
Venom.
He's got convenient plot amnesia. Always love that.
Right. The symbiote Spider-Man will always go hard. I don't care what anybody says. Emo Spider-Man, fucking, you know, where he's dancing in the street, all of it. I don't care. It's all great.
Bully Maguire is awesome, and I will accept nothing less.
Bully Maguire will forever be funny, and not only funny but also just like cool and fucking awesome. So I don't care. The end fight scene's really cool with giant Sandman, sick as hell. We're gonna kind of have to speedrun these because we're already at an hour if this recording, so we're gonna have to speed this up a little bit. But now, Spider-Man 3 underwent a lot of shit.
Yes.
So Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be only Sandman and Green Goblin. It was supposed to be a way bigger plot story with Harry, and that made a lot more sense, and Mary Jane and all this stuff. And then Avi Arad, who is a producer at Sony and who has been a producer on pretty much every Marvel movie. He's like Kevin Feige, but for Sony, and not good at his job.
Yeah, he crawled on his hands so that Kevin Feige could sprint, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Pretty much, yeah. Avi Arad has worked on every single Spider-Man film, and notoriously, have any of you noticed that Spider-Man films don't do good past a third movie, if they even make it that long? Avi Arad basically told... So basically how this went was a lot of he said, she said Hollywood bullshit, where Avi Arad had told Sam Raimi, your fans want to see Venom, and if you don't do Venom, I'll take you off the project. And Sam Raimi said, well, I don't really know Venom like that because he's kind of a newer character, and I don't really like. I'm more of a fan of the older characters, so like I don't really want to do Venom. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And no one on the fan side was saying like, hey, we don't want to see Venom. Like, just we're fine with whatever you come up with. And also, there was no Twitter back then. I mean, it was 2009, so there might have been, but like it wasn't. The internet wasn't like that, like it is today. So he ended up going and making Venom, and it wasn't a good interpretation or portrayal of Venom, and no one really liked it, and it kind of ruined the movie and for a lot of people on that end. And c'est la vie. It is what it is. Yeah, Spider-Man 3, man. You either love it or you hate it. It's either one of the two. It's not like there's really no gray area with this movie. It's either you fucking love this movie or you really don't.
I love this movie just because it's so enjoyable, but it's not a good Spider-Man movie. But I find enjoyment in the fact that it's so just hilarious is the word. Like, it's just so hilarious that it makes it fun. But if you take it seriously, then it just doesn't really work the same. But no, I'll watch this movie any day of the week. Any single day of the week I'll watch this movie.
I mean, it's just this whole trilogy. Like, if you throw any one of these movies on, I'll sit down and watch it. Like, no matter what I was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't I could be in the middle of my work day at work, and if I go into a room and Spider-Man's on TV, I'll just sit down and watch. I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, actually, I will do a lot of things to get away from work, so I would definitely watch it during work hours for sure.
But pretty much, yeah. That rounds up Sam Raimi's trilogy, I think. I don't know. I honestly, me personally, I'd say 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
You can say 9 just because the first two are so good. The third one is nowhere near 9, so it does bring down the average a little bit. But if we're talking about like
a personal scale.
Oh, personal scale, yeah. I'm not even that far off. I'll say probably like 8.5. 8.5 is probably where I'm at.
He always has to go like.
I do. No, I do.
At the very minimum, he has to go half a point underneath. It's so fucking dumb. Like, just agree. Just agree with me. What was wrong with 9 out of 10? What was wrong with 9 out of 10?
Because Spider-Man 3, you can't be a 9 out of 10 when one of your movies is
if like, I had said 8.5 out of 10, you would have probably said 7.
No, I would have. I'm steady sticking with like 8.5 because again, if you're thinking about like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, that's what 25 out of 10 25 out of 30. Yeah, it's a little. That's basically like 8.5 out of 10. That's my mental.
Yeah, whatever.
Right
okay,
there.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, great movies. Some of my favorite Spider-Man films, if not my favorites.